lot through the Spirit Siphon if you're not focusing it down fast.
Were you leaning more towards the SF? Because I kind of was too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think Sniper's not really... it's a good lane for Sniper where you've got that ranged against the Death Prophet. Even that is like not going to be incredible necessarily. But I mean, the Sniper Earth Spirit can put a lot of pressure on Death Prophet. Like, I don't think Alliance have the best heroes to contest that mid lane. You can try and heal the Death Prophet a bit with the IO, but outside of the lane, I think come mid game, this is not the best hero for fighting into Death Prophet.
This is going to be definitely a very, I think, lopsided power spikes for Cloud9. Like, they're going to be good in laning phase. You know, Sniper versus a Death Prophet, that's fine. Lone Druid in his lane, all good. Enigma farming, good. But once we reach like 15 minutes, I think we're going to see a very distinct drop-off in power. And then I think it's going to be a question of whether or not they can hold their high ground for Cloud9, and they do have some severely strong high ground that is going to be very tough for Alliance to push into. Some of these squishier heroes, Luna and Death Prophet, are both going to be targeted down by Sniper and Lone Druid at 1,000 range apiece, and they might not be able to close that distance time.
That's a pretty brutal high ground defending duo, but I think I mean, again, the key hero, Jonas, Stampede this game is going to be the big kind of spell for Alliance to fight around. If you can use that Stampede to get on top of those ranged heroes at the back, that's going to be your way to take a fight. But that's where items like Hurricane Pike come into play, as well as the Savage Roar from the Lone Druid. If you can catch them with the Savage Roar when they're stampeding on top of you, that's going to be able to buy you some space. So there are ways to get away from the Stampede in of Alliance, as well as the Relocate. That's the other kind of good gap closer, but they haven't got like good gap closing up capabilities for either Luna or Death Prophet, who are their main damage dealers.
D9 playing the same exact strategy, sitting around this off-lane bounty rune area with Alliance to crash into them. This time around, Alliance did smoke up, but they went into the Radiant Jungle, got themselves some nice aggressive wards, block out the pull. They've also got this mid ward that is less likely to be countered, and they're still going to get themselves both bounty runes. So
the battle begins.
Interesting. It's no longer like, oh, it's the Dire bounty runes and Radiant, like both teams getting 2 apiece, but not the ones you'd normally expect with those enemy jungle ones being contested. But Centaur in the safe lane is going to be against, well, Ace. Ace has dodged the aggressive lane coming out, so anticipating this aggression from Alliance, he's headed to the offline. And I think that's pretty important, that you want to make sure you have this Enigma against the Luna lane, where you're just denying those range creeps. Although I say that, Hessajo's actually missed the first range creep, so he's going to have to go running after it. May find himself in a bit of a tough spot.
That's a bit unfortunate. Alliance, even if they have been dodged, though, they've got some decent rotation power, right? I'm thinking, like, maybe they just put Hanskin. Trying to think of it, it's like Hanskin or EGM that should go up to the top lane if it's... Or if they just get this aggro tri lane.
I guess now with the Earth Spirit down here, they may feel like they need to keep numbers down here. Ideally, EGM wants to hit a fast level 2, get the Arcane Aura online, so he may just fall back to the jungle a little bit. But leaving Luna down here alone seems like a risky option.
An awkward animation for Limp to be able to get denies, but he's still doing it. 4-4 so far against Baby Knight Sniper, who is a quite distinct attack damage. So not too terribly surprising, I guess. A roll in, misses out. Noya not going to be able to hit anything there. In fact, immediately he's going to be countered as Death Prophet managed to get a Spirit Siphon onto him. That is going to be part of the hard part for Earth Spirit. Death Prophet, we haven't seen a whole lot of her lately, but I remember back in the day, she was one of the more notorious heroes for gank turnarounds, where you jump onto her and you think you're going to be able to kill her, and then Spirit Siphon.
Oh yeah. And now you're seeing there already has the bottle, the tether, so you can heal up teammates. But it's funny, the other thing that kind of comes to mind when you ask, like, why is Io not picked as much, is the shrines. You've got free Ios right by your mid lane. That shrine can heal you up as a mid laner, so I think Io has fallen off because of those shrines as well a bit.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
That kind of goes back to a past discussion we're having, but that kind of just something that came up. But
I think that's good.
As it stands, the lanes seem to be a lot more even than I was expecting. I mean, the aggressive tri lane being dodged is kind of the big reason there. Hessajo is just going to be the one trying to do what he can to deny some Luna farm, but Mid lane is going to be where things look to heat up, as both teams are rotating in supports.
Yeah, another attempted roll in. Limp is going to be good, though. Heals himself up. Hankin starts making it down bottom. Ace is going to have a complete 1v1 against Jonas and Fun. Kind of similar to, what was it, the Ad Venom, where we had Nyx. Hester Joe eats through the trees, a little bit more distance. Those spirit balls aren't quite hitting him. Hester Joe might be able to juke this out a little bit further, but he just can't find an opening. Those trees are all closed off to him. Hanskin is going to go down, but Rise is now low enough that Loda can pick up that kill, or rather EGM is going to be able to pick it up. Loda still plenty of HP underneath this tower. We'll make sure that there's no pursuit on EGM. So, one for, what was that? Just straight up one for two? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, 1 for 2. Cool decision from Hanskin. He was holding the skill point. I was waiting to see if he got like the overcharge to heal up his mid lane, but he goes for the spirits, and that helps him go for that extra dive, gives him some extra damage, and more importantly, the scouting behind the tower. So, good aggressive option from Alliance, and they finally capitalize on this aggressive tri lane.
He needed to. His ace. Gotta be worried about him. Hester Joe taking a lot of spirit damage again. Loda thinking about running forward and trying to get that extra nuke, but I wait for that healing salve to cool off from his backpack. I just might be able to catch something here. Unfortunately, only has level 1 of Flip, so be able to catch EGM to keep him in place. Hester Joe, he may be comping his spirits here. The kick is going to be able to stop. Okay, never mind. It stopped Hanskin, but Loda was still able to get the actual right click thanks to the tether movement speed. So, under 3 now. Alliance taking an early lead in the laning phase.
Yeah, they're not getting much farm in the center at top, but he's at least getting his levels, and that's really what you're pretty happy with, because once Jonas hits level 6, he can help out this off lane without having to directly be there. Mid lane Limp's being rolled on, and whoa, the uphill
the spirit siphon. Oh, they're still trying to get him. They managed to get the glimpse back, and there's just not enough heals from Hanskin to be able to save him the second time around. So, Limp still goes down.
Very, very close to surviving that one. I think there was one uphill miss coming in from the sniper there as well, but he's going to be tangoing up. I love this from Baby Knight. He puts his Wraith Bands into his backpack while he's tangoing. He's like, alright, there's no one here contesting my CS. I don't need these Wraith Bands.
Oh, but he missed the CS.
Gets that extra bit of efficiency.
GG. And now he's like, oh, like Swindles with the Yule Scepter all over again. This efficiency wasn't worth it.
Thing is, nowadays you're not dropping those items on the ground, but
yeah,
it's
well, things looking good for Alliance despite the death of Limp in mid. They're still holding 1,000 gold lead, about 400 experience. Decent start for them, especially since we talked about in the draft. They're going to hit a very strong mid game point, so a decent laning phase can get that off even more. But it looks like EGM's going to be caught by Ace. They probably weren't expecting this rotation. Ace is now going to settle down in the safe lane. They're going to move other heroes. Limp is going to be caught here inside the kinetic field. Spirit Siphon still going out. Now he has the help of Hanskin, but they're still going to be able to burst him down and catch Hanskin as well with the extra damage. Again, Cloud9 making heavy rotations into mid, and it's paying off big time.
Yeah, it really is, and this is like that double Wraith Band build, and just having all the support constantly moving in, and this CMIO support duo are not good supports really to rotate around and protect you. Meanwhile, on the Cloud9 side, you've got Earth Spirit, one of the best aggressive supports to pair up with a sniper. All you've got to do is get like a second of shrapnel slow, and then it almost guarantees that rolling boulder hits, and so hard to play around that mid lane as a Death Prophet, one of the slower, squishier mid laners to be, and we're seeing Limp get punished a couple of times in a row now. The Cloud9 aggression.
Loda and Hanskin spending some time in the jungle together. They don't have level 6 on Hunt, waiting for a smoke from each. They are going to make a bit of an excursion into the Radiant jungle, see what they can come upon here. Maybe a wrap onto mid instead, and they're going to be, this is pretty fortuitous timing, or at least a little bit. They dodged one support, but they still may run into Noya before managing to catch Baby Knight. Noya ducks himself into the trees. They're going to pop the Centaur ultimate. They're going to try and run down Baby Knight. They catch him with the Frostbite. That'll be an easy kill. Noya runs the same direction the Alliance came from. Price gets a little bit of vision on a Hanskin, but it doesn't look like the rotations are even going to be attempted by Cloud9. I think they made this read pretty early in their draft. They're like, sometimes guys, we just can't fight.
Yeah, I like the call from Cloud9. Like, they just completely abandoned ship in the mid lane. They know that's the Stampede on cooldown, so they've now got a little bit of a window where they don't have to worry about it. And they can even come back and defend this now with Stampede down.
Now, Loda's going to be caught here. He's trying to play around this glimpse. He knows he's going to be pulled back into his death. No teammates to save him. He's going to try and go for the kill on Rise, but Hesjo turns around and puts a stopper on that one with a Malphite. Ace managed to pick up the off-lane tower of Alliance in the meantime, and that's really the dangerous part.
Yeah, and I think that's where that investment mid, it doesn't really pay off in the end for Alliance. Like, you kill a sniper, but you stick around too long thinking you can turn it into a +1 tower, and then you lose a tower at bottom. You also lose your Luna with the glimpse back in. Like, that, end of the day, that's a big win for Cloud9, everything that happened there.
Absolutely. They're rapidly progressing towards that mech on the Enigma as well. Punishment there on Baby Knight on the limb for taking down that ward. Gonna bring Ace into mid now, see if they can get some damage onto mid. Now, I'm sure Alliance are still going to be able to protect their mid tower, but maybe they can just force rotations, or maybe not. Maybe with the big ultimates on cooldown, one of which hasn't even been leveled yet. Death Prophet only level 7, hasn't gotten Exorcism, and with the clips down, Alliance don't seem to feel like they can fight at all.
Hesjo almost solo killed Jonas up top, and this is just keeping the Centaur busy while the real push happens mid. And we're seeing Cloud9, we talked about them being this early 5-man team and Lone Druid not really fitting that style. They're just playing it slightly different to what most Lone Druid players are doing. They're playing a bit less farm intensive, saying, look, we've still got this level 4 Spirit Bear. Yeah, there's no items on the Spirit Bear, but it still packs a punch. It still does good damage to buildings with the Demolish and Ace. He's got Treads, he's got a Blightstone. It's enough to at least chip away at towers with your team, and Alliance take some damage, but now they've got Eclipse and Stampede back up. They really want to try and fight around these ultimates.
So Cloud9, but probably just got to break up again, do the split push, Lone Druid on one half of the map, Joe on the other.
It's really like, I think splitting up is fine, because if those ultimates, ideally want to make it so that Alliance like commit those ultimates and only get like a kill, like happened last time. If you lose a sniper or a Lone Druid for like a multiple ultimate usage, like an Eclipse and a Stampede, you just turn around as soon as those heroes respawn and like go take a tower or go take the fight to Alliance. So I think what we're seeing from Cloud9 is just like a bit more calculated. They're the ones waiting to react to Alliance, at least when those ultimates are up.
You know, that I think that is in large part, despite Death Prophet fitting many of the checks in the boxes requirements for cores in this patch. You know, team fight, pushing power, all that sort of deal. I think a large part of Death Prophet not being picked up is that long cooldown of Exorcism, and they have some long cooldowns on both sides. Luna, she's been able to overcome her Eclipse cooldown for the most part in many of the matches that we've watched, but Death Prophet and Luna on the same team may not be able to overcome that distinct disadvantage that they're at after one team fight.
Yeah, and like even if you win a team fight and use like a Stampede Eclipse and you've got trying to push with an Exorcism, like you can still get brought down very quickly. Cloud9 have more than ample amounts of damage to do that, but I think right now Cloud9, the big thing there, they can actually look to fight into the Eclipse Stampede once they have the mech, and that's exactly what Hesjo just has the money to complete now. But can he get down to this bottom lane in time is another question. Ace is in a lot of danger of being smoke wrapped on.
Ace do this. He needs the right Savage Roar here. Pushes back Jonas Fond with the haste still up, so he will manage to get out. Maybe this is a turnaround opportunity. Noya comes in. Nice stun. 2-man stun, but Jonas Fond is going to be saved by Hanskin. Plenty of heals coming out, but Limp, he doesn't have the same opportunity. He just gets targeted down by Baby Knight, and the damage over time is immense. Alliance are losing hero after hero. Loda is going to be the only one who escapes that nasty engagement.
That's, I mean, it was one thing I looked at in the draft. I was like, all right, Stampede, great against getting on top of a Lone Druid sniper. And then I thought about it more. I'm like, is it really? Against Hurricane Pike, not great. Against the Savage Roar, also not great. And we saw it there. You need to hit that Centaur stun onto the Lone Druid, otherwise he just Savage Roars. And the CM ultimate got Lone Druid down to half HP, but it sure as hell wasn't going to kill him on its own. So Savage Roar is a great counter to Stampede, and that is a big problem for Alliance when they lose the big fight around Stampede. They're now set back drastically.
That turns all that extra movement speed against you, and then by the time Savage Roar is done, you no longer have that movement speed again. I think they desperately need Blink Dagger on Jonas, but he's nowhere close to it. So Cloud9 are now going to be able to take a tier 2 at bottom lane, it seems. Lance unable to fight again. They attempt for it tonight, but on point, Cloud9 baby that last hit instead.
That's his Dragonlance, so that's more survivability for him, and the whole Cloud9 team feels like they're in a position where they can start actually 5-manning down towers into Alliance having all their ultimates. Without a blink on Centaur, I just don't see a good way for Alliance to approach a fight, because they try and stampede in. Something similar to what happened down bottom happens. It doesn't even have to be a Savage Roar. It could be like a Boulder Smash from an Earth Spirit, or a Silence onto the Centaur so that he can't get off his Hoof Stomp. They're very reliant on that Hoof Stomp to start a fight, and kind of feels, at least where the game is now, like it feels like he should have perhaps gone for it before the Hood, but ideally in Alliance's mind they were going to get enough kills just through the Stampede without having a Blink Dagger that they would still get a good timing on it, but losing that first big fight sets them back.
And it is so hard to ace between his bear and then a Helmet Dominator creep and then a Savage Roar. He's got plenty of information for when he goes for these side lane pushes, and then on top of that, failing.
Oh, they found IO.
Very, very good. They're immediately going to turn that into more tier 2 tower damage.
You may force them back, like, you don't have to necessarily take a Rax, but at least force Alliance to come defend their high ground. You're looking at an Enigma Lone Druid with mech, like, this is definitely a lineup that could threaten high ground right now. I think it'd be a mistake of Cloud9 not to go for that high ground play.
And you can't out push these guys, not with the Lone Druid. At this point, anyway. Don't get any real damage on the tier 2 at bottom just yet. Luna's still going to attempt it, but Limp is going to be the one trying to defend high ground here. TP's coming in. Limp being dropped lower and lower by the steady and sure damage of Baby Knight on range. Now the TP is back from Cloud9 to defend their tier 2. Ace is going to be the first one out. Jonas is in position to try and counter, but against Ace, we've already talked about how that Stampede is not really the initiation he wants, so Loda may just be caught here. Caught the Stampede now. Loda's going to try and get away with that distance. Looks like, well, he may not be good.
He could have kept chasing, but you don't know what you're chasing into. There's a shrine that can be TP2 there, so I think he just decided, alright, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but
a gift from the Tempest of
good damage up top. They defend the tier 2 bottom. I think Alliance really make the only play they can make there, which is force them back at bottom lane, but it's still Alliance playing defensively with a draft that wanted to be the aggressors. Like, you're looking at this Luna Centaur duo that wants to be the ones taking fights and going in, playing fast pace, but they're just not in a position to do so. Enigma's going to be that pipe mech carrier this game. It's impossible to fight into as well. Like, once there's a pipe up on top of the mech, I just don't see Alliance really winning a team fight.
Limp almost stretches out a little bit too far. Maybe he still did. Glimpse back, pull back into the kinetic field. They will manage to get him. Rise, he'll give up his life to be able to kill that core. Now Noya gets the initiation onto more. EGM in a perfect position for that freezing field, even missing the creep there. So EGM continues to just let it go. They bring down 2 supports, but still, Ace is not backing down. He gets some more damage on that tier 2. Just a cheeky couple of hits. He'll lose his Spirit Bear because of it, which is 300 HP. Maybe he has to Joe looking for that black hole. Thinks better of it. It's backing himself up, depending on that mech. EGM needs some help. Hanskin, the other support, trying to help him out with a little bit more. The Eclipse goes down. Loda actually trying to come into all this, but there's too many creeps. He misses most of his Eclipses, and now Loda's going to be caught inside the Entangle. Nice silence out from Limb. He tries to come forward with his ultimate, push back this sniper and see if they can actually catch him. Malefice will provide a little bit of separation. Glimpse gives him even more. Kick in, almost catches him. Will Scepter goes down. Limp is going to try and fight that one out. Assassinate actually finishes off Hanskin, while the Centaur still goes down as well. C9 in good fighting shape as they now chase away the rest of Alliance. Look to be able to catch Loda. Noya locked on target there with a good kick. Stops his retreat. And it looks like C9 with the engagement and will take the tier 2 tower. The last remaining one of Alliance at 7.
Yeah, I think that fight mostly just a byproduct of Alliance being behind. Like, Loda still only had a level 1 Eclipse. He had a decent kind of flank coming in from behind. There was still Enigma Eidolons there, but having just the level 1 Eclipse, the mech basically counted all the damage up that was coming out, and C9 just kind of too far ahead on the items at this point. Limp unable to really offer a whole lot. He even had just the level 1 exorcism, so C9 able to just kite around all the big spells. And it was also the reveal of the Centaur Blink. He airballed the stun when he initiated in, which really hurt Alliance. I think if that stun at least caught one, they could have found a kill and been able to disengage cleanly. But the kiting from this lone druid, I mean, you're seeing what this hero can do even with minimal items. Just the Spirit Bear with the Savage Roar constantly, Ace just hitting and running constantly with the Dragon Lance range advantage. Like, it's just so hard to get on top of Ace right now.
It'd be even harder to get on top of Baby Knight now with the Shadow Blade being picked up. He doesn't even try and go for the Hurricane Pike. That Invis life.
Yeah, that's a problematic item. Alliance need to find some kills soon. The next smoke, I imagine, should be coming probably soon. They've got one on the Crystal Maiden, and ideally using that to get some good Centaur initiations off. But it's going to be so hard now with the pipe up. It's Cloud9 is sticking together as 5, and I imagine that's the idea with Roche on the chopping block. There's a double damage rune there and everything, and put that on, I imagine, Ace and get in the Roche pit, and this is going to be a very hard Roche to stop.
Radiant's bottom tower.
They're actually worried. Okay, they'll see some Alliance heroes down bottom now, but they do have to. Yeah, it's a 3-man smoke with the relocate.
Oh no, he goes up on, misses that one. Yes, to Joe is going to be the target here. The silence, but Limp, they're too close together. Now going to be pulled into the black hole. EGM can't do anything to stop that one with Frostbite on cooldown. The Luna in from the side manages to pick up at least one. The sniper goes down, but he immediately gets turned around by Ace. All that physical damage comes to the floor. They bring down 3 of Alliance, losing their sniper, yes, but they're still going to be able to use this double damage to finish up Roshan and get an Aegis Ray.
Did Sniper have his Shadow Blade in his backpack, or had he not picked up yet? Because he actually, like, when he died, I clicked him and he had his Shadow Blade up, so I almost want to say, like, he got caught with it in his backpack or something, but even so, like, it's still a very handily won team fight for Cloud9. I mean, you've got a double damage rune on a lone druid fighting around that area. That was very hard for them to lose, and losing just a Sniper to secure an Aegis is easily a win for them. Now they get that plus 65 damage on Ace as well. So now basically what he had in that last fight with the double damage ring, he has permanently. Way to look at that, maybe slightly less than double damage, but pretty damn close to it.
I don't think he had the Maelstrom in the fight either, so he picked that up towards the end of it. But means there is a whole lot of damage that Alliance didn't even have to contend. Last team fight that they're going. Next push that comes out from C9.
And this is like, you've lost map control, you've lost your shrines.
Oh.
Well, that's... Didn't blink to the best spot, but hasn't been found at least. Oh, he will get found if he walks out.
Bought it out for a second there.
Yeah.
Gonna have to do a quick blink, doesn't get it in time. Now the Stampede goes down, but he has no way out of this. So when he goes straight for Rise, trying to actually challenge him, will manage to get the kill. Loda and EGM comboing up here. Even if they don't have the Eclipse, they might just be able to bring down Ace. They get one, but an Assassinate comes in, manage to finish off Hanskin, and that is necessary for Loda to have the sustain to fight out this fight against Ace. All that physical damage coming in from a distance. He couldn't finish up Noya, and now will just die to the 2 cores of Cloud9 from the distance. Limp, he's being hunted now with his ultimate out. He still has to be careful.
And with that, I mean, even with it still up, I don't think he wants to go anywhere near this Cloud9 unit. One Malefice will be the death of him, and Limp has to stay as far back as possible. Now they've only got the Eclipse for high ground defense. Stampede's still on cooldown as well. It was a good attempt. I think it's the kind of aggression Alliance needed to make based on their position. They tried to catch him by surprise, fight around that Stampede, but it just didn't work out for him.
Cloud9 take top lane of Rax. Are working on mid. Alliance very rapidly becoming do or die for them. Do or die for Jonas Samfron in particular. But he can't get the initiation, not with the Orb of Venom on him, and the Bear zoning him back. He just can't really close the distance like he wants to allow Alliance a clean way to get into this fight. They've got the Stampede now, but it seems like they're going to give up a second lane of Rax without him.
Yeah, I like how Ace played that. Often you see players just stick to the Spirit Bear on the Rax as well, but he was just positioning it to get extra scouting information and be in a good spot to get a Savage Roar off. So if he gets blinks stunned by a Centaur, he can just Savage Roar the Luna, the Death Prophet, or whoever's going to follow it up. So you secure the melee Rax. Range Rax is good as dead as well. And all C9 have to do is kind of maintain map, get some map control up, keep Alliance in their base. I mean, I think talking about securing the next Roshan is perhaps a bit too far away. If anything, Cloud9 are just one team fight away from the game, so they may be looking to end it before then. I haven't got the best vision right now, with Alliance having pretty good vision surrounding their base, but Alliance have to make play. Like, Alliance can't sit back and wait for another Roshan or wait for another Cloud9 play. They've got to be the ones getting on the aggressive now.
Radiant's top tower needs bandages.
You could see Cloud9 are anticipating that. They throw down the scan, expecting some sort of 3-man smoke wrap around
Dire's bottom
to
tower
occur,
is under
but
attack.
maybe they were just a bit too early with it. Alliance really not going to go for it. They're showing Limp now in range, while Baby Knight starts taking down that tier 3 tower one shot at a time. Wrap comes through now, this time the Dire going for the scan into the high ground to make sure they're not going to run into anybody. So they're showing Limp as the defender, and they're going to try and get their 2 initiators into the back line here, but C9 are all smoked up, giving up no information. Now the initiation comes in, Stampede, but a 4-staff away. Baby Knight is away now. He managed to get the dust out, but it doesn't matter. Limp's not targeting him. He's targeting Ace instead with double Spirit Siphon, but he's Savage Roared away. Luna gets dropped with the attempted relocate in the side, and that is going to be it. It looks like for Alliance, as the Joe gets the black hole onto Limp. Mass buybacks coming forward, but GG, well played is called. Alliance know they have no firepower left. 2-0 for Cloud9. We're going to see a Game 3, the DAC European Qualifiers, not today.
I mean, that's good form from Cloud9, like 2 games in a row, very